Hello guys, and welcome to Cold Ones. If you're not familiar with what Cold Ones is, it's a 5-minute cold plunge into the post-plunge warm-up where we get to know our guest. So on the note of our guest, he kept me running in the charity run. He's a great guy. Adam Warhurst, on you come, my man.
Evening, guys.
So mate, I know you've done an ice bath before, but how long ago was it?
It was ages ago.
Ages.
Ages.
So
Not excited.
he's not got the experience in, and Adam won this morning for my daily ice bath, and I had to tell him that it was pretty cold. So
Yeah, not
I do
excited.
apologise, but here we go. We'll just get on with it, mate, and let's go.
Go. Oh, mate, this does not look nice.
As soon as you're ready, mate.
Just do it, man. Oh, it's not pleasant.
You're breathing through it. Good
Yeah,
job,
man.
mate. To be fair, that's a good reaction. You know what I mean? I was expecting a little bit more of a panic, but you're easing through it.
Yeah.
So, what we're going to talk about today in the ice bath is we're going to talk about what fitness means to you and myself. And we can also just talk about it in a general thumb as well, just about kind of what it means to you. So, what does fitness mean to you?
It's more for like a lifestyle. I base my life around at the moment. I've got loads of life aspirations and goals, especially some things that comes to athletics and just running. So I'm use that. And when it comes to like goals, I went and walked the West Hill Way with some mates and things like that. You just got to keep a good level of fitness, and then by doing that, you make life easier.
Exactly, man. It's always good to keep your health on top of everything else as
Yeah.
well. Fitness helps you with that straight away, to be honest. But for me, goals, like you were saying, in fitness, it's one of the easiest goals to have because fitness is such a thing that you can just put into your everyday life. So when you do that, along with all the easy goals that you can put forward, like say running your first 5K in 25 minutes for some people, that's a goal.
Yeah.
But it's something that you can achieve. It's small, achievable goals that make your life development easier.
Yeah.
And also for me, the fact that like I used to be really heavy into everything like drugs and stuff like that, and having fitness to then pull me away from all that was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
So it saved me in a way.
So yeah, I know lots of people like that, and just the sort of introduction of having that discipline and that process brought into your life allows them to move forward and work on themselves.
Exactly. And I think fitness is so great for that. Like the discipline is like the biggest part for a lot of people, I think, because it's not like doing Muay Thai, it's not like doing triathlons, it's not like all these bigger like events.
Yeah.
But going into like just base fitness, like doing running or maybe just going to the gym for an hour every single day, it's a good introduction to then finding maybe where you want to specifically go in fitness.
Yeah, and it allows you to just grow as a person.
Yeah. And yeah, yeah, like grows you as a person and physically grows you as a person. It's great, mate. It's like something as well that it's like an easy achievable goal that allows you to then kind of compare that to other people as well. Because like other people, like fitness is such a big thing in life.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people do it. Obviously, there's obviously that percentage of people that don't, but it's a very easy comparable thing to have conversation with people. It like opens other avenues to conversate with other people. It's great. It's such a social thing, and that's I think what the best thing is about fitness. It's so social, it's easy goals, and it keeps you healthy.
Yeah. The amount of people you meet throughout it, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, networking. That's something that you don't really think about as much about fitness as well. The networking side of things, because I think a lot of people don't realize that when you go into specific sports, like I know the gym isn't like a sport as such; it's a very general thing, but like there's different avenues in the gym. You know what I mean?
Even with the gym, like when I first started at Mackey's, I just started the gym along with them because I had the money to go to it. And as much as like I didn't really know anyone when I first began working, knowing going to the gym and meeting people helped me socialize with them and helped me become friends with people. Because otherwise, I wouldn't have spoke to you or Timmy and stuff.
So that's it. You know what I mean? It is absolutely. You know, it's so I mean like the social thing. It's like, oh, you go to the gym. What do you do? Oh, I lift weights. Okay, it's quite general, but it then starts conversations going. And now like Timmy's proper into his bodybuilding. You're Bob proper into your bodybuilding. I'm now doing Muay Thai like full time.
Yeah.
So it's like you see all these different kind of avenues you all go out on, but you all came together from one general thing. That rule of thumb of being at the gym, just being fit. Because a lot of people, you get a lot of respect when you do things like that. You know what I mean? Even if it's just small things, it's just it all adds up to making you a more fuller person.
Exactly.
Man, I have a feeling that timer's not went off because I feel like we've been talking for ages, but
nah, man, this cold bath isn't getting any warmer.
The timer must be on still. So
yeah,
it's just you know what? It's always weird because you have these conversations, right? And you feel like you got a really good conversation going, and the timer just never goes off, and you're like, how's that happen? And it's I don't know what it is. There's just something about good conversations that sometimes take longer. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But then sometimes, like when we go in there, for example, for every guest that I've had since I've started my new setup, it's like you get so locked in that hour just disappears.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
and
crazy.
it's a difference. But for some reason, that ice, it's because you're in pain the whole time in the ice bath. Eh?
Yeah, it just drags on, man.
Oh,
We're probably talking really quick as well.
to be fair, you've actually done really well here. Like you've got yourself in a very level ground. Like you're maybe a wee bit shaky, but
Yeah.
some people like actually properly struggle when they get in here. Like they can't talk for like a good like minute and a half. You were just straight in there, man. But you've got to be at the end of the day. Innit?
Yeah.
You gotta be.
Just gotta fight through the pain. It gets better eventually.
Alright, well, to be fair, the more comfortable you get in here. Oh, it was on.
Yeah.
Well, the more comfortable you get in here, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
It's just kind of getting used to it. But anyway, we're gonna head into the post plunge warm up where it's a little bit less wet, a little bit more warm. But before that, we're gonna go into the water.
Don't worry.
So we're into the post plunge warm up. So you all know what the post plunge warm up's all about nowadays, and if you don't, well, you're gonna learn. So what we do in the post plunge warm up is we get to know our guest just a little bit better, and usually the first two questions I run with is what happened in their past and what they their goals are for the future. So Adam, we'll start with the first question.
Yeah.
The first question is, what happened in your past and where have you been leading up to this moment?
So when I was younger, I used to do running and cycling and swimming and stuff. I used to be part of a swim club. Wasn't the best. I then transferred over to triathlons, and for maybe my first 7 years of my life, I've been doing triathlons, and then I sort of broke it down and I started doing more Pacific sports. And then throughout school, I'd done cross country. Wasn't the best at it, but I had fun nonetheless. And then I took maybe a year and a bit off when it came to exams. And then after my exams, and after I started going to the age, I was 17 at the time, I joined work, got my gym membership, started loving that. And that's just, so I started triathlons again. It's pretty banging. Started training properly.
Yeah, triathlons are one of these things. This is actually one of the questions I was going to ask you later about, but we'll just talk about it since you brought it up now.
Cool.
What are triathlons like? Because I've always wanted to try them, but what is why do you enjoy them so much? Is there a reason?
Nah, it's just, see, you don't have to be the best at every single sport. There's 3 sports included in a normal triathlon, and that's your swimming, cycling, and running. And they normally do it in that process. So you can be absolute awful at swimming, and you can be dropped dead last, but then you've got a chance to catch back up again with your cycling and your running. So it's always give you a good second chance, and it's just a really good endurance sport, and it works on multiple different muscle groups, and you're not just working your lower body, you're working your upper body. So I think it's really good.
Yeah, I would love to take part in partake in a little triathlon at some point. To be fair, I've been thinking about all these different things. After we'd done that wee 5K, as much as it was just a wee 5K. Yeah. We had a conversation about doing Tough Mudder and stuff like that already. But I would love to start doing all the charity kind of stuff more often, because it's such a rewarding thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not even for charity, just in general, just doing the running. Like you say, it's it's a different type of fitness that you kind of get from these things as well. Because obviously I do Muay Thai, but like you learned yesterday, Muay Thai training is completely different from running. Because you outran me a beast in that the charity run, but you only done 3 rounds of pads, and you done well. Don't get me wrong, but you were feeling it.
It's not the same.
And it's crazy. Your body doing kind of the same kind of motor functions could be so different for your cardio. It's weird.
Yeah.
Such a weird thing that our body biomechanics is. It's just strange. But yeah. So what goals have you got for the future? Because you've surely got a lot of goals. I believe that you would.
So hopefully I want to do an Ironman. That's not something there's a long triathlon, if people don't know what that is. It's not it wasn't a proper goal, but if I get to the stage in life where that's an option, that should be brilliant. One of my main goals, and one of my life goals I had for so long now, is to go and do P Company, which is the course that the paratroopers do, the British paratroopers, and I just think that's brilliant. My uncle, my dad, they've done it before, and I just really want to try it out and prove that I can do it.
What does that entail?
So you get different events in it. Some of them could be quite simple, where you do a minute of just milling, which is basically just straight up punching each other back and forth, back and forth, back and forth,
Okay.
without sort of like, it's not about defense, it's just about controlled aggression. But some of the other ones are like, you have to take a 60-kilogram log as a team over 2 miles, and then you get like a 20-mile march, 20-mile battle march they have to complete in like 4 hours and 50 minutes, and you're carrying like your own kit and stuff. It's pretty good.
That's quite interesting, to be fair. Yeah, I always thought that when we first started speaking and you started talking about how you done rucking and stuff like that, I found that so interesting because it's not something that you hear a lot of people do nowadays. Because, well, unless you're like military based, kind of like in that sort of mindset. But as like a general rule of thumb, a lot of people don't use that as a way of fitness nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, why do you partake in rucking then? Is it just...
It's never like, when I'm doing rucking and stuff, it's not more about the physical aspect. It's probably more downsides than there are upsides to it. It's putting a lot of pressure on your body, and it's not the best when it comes to getting better at cardio. But it's a mental aspect. Like running 6 miles with 20 kilos on your back, you've just, at that point you get to, you're like, I can't be arsed anymore. I don't want to do this. It's like, but you just got to push through that and continue going. It's really rewarding.
The mental discipline sort of side of things. I love that, to be fair. That's good. See, I think a lot, like we've already spoke about this in ice bath and stuff, how like fitness brings a lot of discipline down for you, but like there's not a lot of like mainstream sports that kind of push you to that kind of level, you know what I mean? Like where you're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. But you can physically, but mentally you're like, I can't do this anymore. And it's this incredible thing, like when you can push past that breaking point.
Yeah.
Like I can totally understand why you'd want to partake in something like that. It's kind of like that for me in Muay Thai. I mean, Muay Thai's, it's more enjoyable than anything because you learn from it, you gain from it as well because you end up getting all these new techniques. You feel good when you move, more flow, your flow's better. But like at the same time, going to Muay Thai as a general thing, like me going to my class for example, can sometimes be the hardest thing because you're like thinking about it and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can be arsed to do, because it's like you're going and you're completely putting yourself out your comfort zone because you're going to fight somebody that's either better than you, could be equally as good as you, could be worse than you. It doesn't really matter because you have to go in with the same mindset as you do every time, and that's respect.
Yeah.
But it's like the whole thought of having to go out your way to go somewhere, to go and learn something that's not really that needed in your life, to be honest, but it's something you want. And that's the same with every single fitness thing, isn't it? So it's like the whole fact that you have to go out your way to do something that's really not, it's not needed, but it's wanted. Yeah, and that's a good thing about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's like you got that goal and you've got that sort of like thought process, and it's like, I don't want to do this today. I can't be arsed getting out of my bed. I can't be arsed putting on the rucksack. I can't be arsed just like even going without weight and just running normally. It's just, you don't want to do it. But when you do it, and after you do it, you look at how much progress you've made over a period of time. You look at how much work you've done and how much that all works together and just makes it easier for you.
No, exactly, man. I love how like motivational you speak. Like I don't think you realise how like inspiring it is listening to you sometimes. Like,
thanks, man.
I know, like I'm in a very healthy shape, but see that, like that, even that charity run, we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
If I didn't have someone like you running in front of me, I probably wouldn't have pushed myself as hard as even I did. Because like obviously I love the rest of our team, everyone else that was there, good for even finishing it, but because they weren't pushing themselves to like be there to win the 5k, it wouldn't have gave me the drive to push myself as hard as I did. So I respect you for that aspect, you know what I mean? It's good, especially that, like, you're so young as well. So like having that mindset about you and pushing yourself that hard, it's incredible, because a lot of people at your age are either smoking, they're drinking, they're wasting their life, and they're not really doing much with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like obviously you can go out drinking, you can do whatever you want. I'm not saying that that's not what you should be doing, but I'm saying like you maybe go out and do what you do, and then you come back and you still push yourself just as hard. And that's something that a lot of folk at your age do not do. Yeah. Or even my age. It's like, at any age, to be honest, like it's not something that a lot of people will push themselves to. So it's like, it's good knowing someone like yourself. It's I've never ever said that to you, but it is genuinely, it's a good mindset you've got, and you should be quite proud of yourself for the way you are.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm going to be really honest with you. When it came to the fun run the other day there, I did not have it in me. Like, that morning, I was like, yeah, I've talked so much. I'm like, yeah, I do like triathlons and stuff. Of course I'm going to win. I pushed myself quite hard that day just to try and beat you guys. But it was like, yeah, it was good fun nonetheless. And having the mindset of just being able to do it. Like, I've gone out, I've had a drink with mates, and then the next morning I'll planned the night before. It's like, yeah, you're getting up and you're doing this anyway. Like, I'll be at a party, I'll come home and I'll be like, I'm not getting in till 1 o'clock in the morning, but I'll come home, I'll go to sleep. I'll get like a terrible sleep, but I've got to get up and train anyway. It's like, you can't knock that side. It's like, you've got to decide and you've got to have the discipline to go, as much as I've gone out and having fun, you've got to balance it with, I've still got to get this done, I've still got to do it. And as much as you're not training to as good a standard as you normally do, you've got to be able to do it nonetheless.
You still showed up, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
To be fair, I watched a video and someone was saying that if you're a big enough man to go out and drink, you should be a big enough man to go to the gym after it. And I was like, that is like the most, like, I love that. That is such a good quote, because the thing is, right, a lot of people will plan, like you've said, you planned the day before, you went out, you knew what you were getting involved with, but you were still going to plan to do something after it. A lot of people will do the same thing. They'll get up in the morning like, nah, I can't be arsed. I've like took it too far last night. Nah. And that's where you have to, like, it's okay doing that once in a while, fair enough. Like, for me, if I go out and I ruin my night and I'm like, okay, I don't drink for a reason, whatever, I'll say the same shit. But then if I go to the gym even a couple of days later, I'll still be happy, because at least I don't drink a lot. So like when it happens to me, I'm like, oh well, you know what I mean? One step back, 2 steps forward, we just keep moving. But like, in the same way, if you're doing that all the time and you're promising yourself that next step, and you keep just stepping backwards and stepping backwards and stepping backwards, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna start trying, and you never actually take the action to actually start trying.
Yeah, and just
that's where you stop.
It's like people I know, and they'll turn around and they'll go, like, I'll talk about me going to the gym, and they'll be like, oh my god, that's so cool. It's like, I wish I could do that. It's like, well, come along to the gym then, I'll show you what to do. But it's like, oh, I'll get it next week, or I've got work this week, I can't do it this week. It's like, well, you could go after work, you could try all these different things. You can't, or I've got to study. It's like, you get, I study around my time. I'm doing well in the moment, and I still make time for it. Depends on your priorities.
Yeah, exactly. And that is something that you have to really focus up on, I think. Prioritising time for the things that you love, and the things that you need to do are important. So like, a lot of people's maybe gym time doesn't really come down to a priority for them, and that's fair enough. Like, I've got nothing against folk that aren't going to go to the gym fucking 5 times a week.
I know.
It's totally up to you at the end of the day. You can't force a hand above anybody to be like, oh, you need to get involved with fitness. It's totally up to you in your life and what time you have. But you should prioritise. The thing is, I think me and Scott spoke about this when we had our little podcast, and we were saying that fitness is so important to the point, like, it's not about like being involved with fitness. It's about keeping yourself healthy enough so you live a better life and more fulfilling life. And I think that's the important part. It's not about being able to lift, I don't know, 100 kg at bench press. No one really cares that much, you know what I mean? It's impressive to be able to do something like that. It's a feat, and it's good to like know that you've built your way up to that, but it's not an importance. But keeping yourself fit is an importance. You need to at least be doing something, and maybe even walking, just little things. You can't let yourself fully slip away, because once you do that, it's only bad. It only goes badly from there.
I know, and it makes it more difficult to do things you want to enjoy. Like, in my spare time, I enjoy going mountain biking, I'll do a bit of surfing, that sort of thing involves a lot of muscle activity. And as much as, like, if I was to just stop the gym, I probably could continue it, but then, like, the actual, like, technique would slip, because I don't have the strength to back it up, so I'm not thinking about the technique as much. So it just becomes more of a task and less enjoyment.
That's literally all it's about as well. Like, I was speaking to my coach at Muay Thai, and he was like, it's all good knowing technique, it's all good knowing combos, it's all good knowing whatever we've been learning, but without conditioning, you're never going to be the best. And that's so true, because the thing is, right, you could learn how to kick perfectly, but at the end of the day, if you're not strengthening like your oh my god, my hamstrings, if I'm not sitting there strengthening my hamstrings, then I'm not going to get more power out of that kick, and I'm still going to have a weaker kick than someone else. Like, that's what I said to you yesterday as well. I'm training. You have to train to be the best. That's how you have to train. If you're going to be fully involved with fitness or fully involved with some level of sport, you need to train to be the best. You don't need to be the best, but you need to train like the best, because if you don't, you're always going to have someone that's just continuously competing against what you're playing at. And that's the most important mindset, I think, to have in fitness. If you're like fully involved with it, if you're not and you're just getting involved with it now, or maybe you're just like slightly involved with it, do your thing, keep at it, and you should be impressed with yourself for even keeping at it, because a lot of people don't. But when it comes to specific sports and where you want to be the best, you need to train like the best. It's the same with anything. You need to invest your time into learning from the best. That's
Yeah.
how you get better. So that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, and just about having that sort of drive. It's like, if you're going to do it properly. Give it all your all. As much as I'm not very good at my nutrition side of training and stuff, but even then I still think about it in some ways, and you still got to think about that, the benefits and the downsides, and how these things slowly come into your life, and how, I don't know, like going to the gym once a week. You don't even have to go to the gym, go like a walk, aim to like do that sort of thing, and just have that sort of cardio or that sort of muscle build up. Just makes things easier, and it's like, just as long as you're giving it your all and trying your hardest, like you'll improve and you'll get better. And
Exactly. I mean, I feel like that's something that like a lot of people, I think social media is like really good, well tailored to kind of pushing for that stuff nowadays as well. Like, I feel like before now, I speak a lot about social media on this, but it's because like I am pushing towards social media, and I don't want it to be like, I like to speak about the negative parts to social media, because there's a lot of stuff in social media that's just a complete faff and a waste of time for a lot of people. And it's what takes a lot of people's like proper fitness sides of life away, and just their general life away, to be honest, because you sit there scrolling for hours and you don't learn anything, you don't gain anything.
I was like that. I woke up this morning at 9:30, and I really didn't do anything till 10:30, because I just sat on my phone for an hour. It was like, I'll get up in the morning and I'll have things to do, and as much as I'll get round to them eventually, there's more beneficial things I could have got on with more. I could learn a new skill with the amount of time as I spent scrolling. Like, it's not a good thing.
But the thing is, you can't, to be fair, like, I'm not going to sit there and, like, I don't really scroll as much, because I post on social media. My addiction is checking my social media, because that's what I'm kind of into. I don't sit there and scroll through very many videos. I'll maybe check out, if I've got like a couple of my pals or something, I've posted stuff, I'll go check them out, because that's important. I like to support the people that support me. But when it comes down to like actual scrolling, it's not something that I'm big on, but I'm very big on just continuously checking my social media. That's probably where my time goes. Like, genuinely, I could sit there for an hour just jumping between like 5 different apps, just looking at how my videos are doing. I don't know why. It's just like, it's a weird addiction. I don't know what it is. It's just good to sometimes keep on top of what's really happening with the things that you've spent time on at the end of the day as well. So it is one of those things. But I think you can't really like, as such, like, batter someone down for spending a lot of time on social media, though, because it's such an easy thing to do. Yeah. And it's specifically there for that to happen.
Yeah, and it's such a big thing in like life nowadays. It's like, you'll talk to most people and you won't see them, but then you'll add them on Instagram or you'll add them on Snapchat, and you'll send a message to them, you'll be like, and you'll end up talking to them again, and you build friendships that way. When if you'd only see them once otherwise. So there are benefits to it, but then other times it's such an easy way to make time fly by.
Yeah. If you've got the time to waste, I suppose there's nothing better than filling it all about social media. See, I think that's a crazy thing though as well, like the whole fact that like you meet new people and you learn new people and you follow people's lives through social media. It's crazy that like maybe 50 years ago that wouldn't have been the case, and it would have been more of like you'd have to speak to people. I think I actually spoke about this in my last Cold Ones as well. I was like, it's crazy how now society's so run by social media to the point where like you actually, in most cases, you'll know more people through what they are on social media than you'll know them in person. Like just even like your close pals, you'll probably know more people through social media than you will know people in real life, which is really weird, because like that should never be the case. Yeah, it's like, and you probably know people on social media better. Well, maybe not better, because it's usually a fake front. A lot of people put up on social media. You'll see all these fake versions of them, but it's like, it's such a weird thing that you can gain so much personality from a couple of posts on Instagram or something, and you can kind of learn what they're into and what they do just through a couple of posts. Aye,
it's crazy. And especially it's like when I've went away and I've done like events, or I've done sort of like I've done sports and stuff, I'll sometimes post, and then the amount of people that actually interact with that and then speak about it with you the next day, it's like, didn't expect that. I see so many other people posting it, and it's like, oh yeah, but you don't realise it, but you're taking like a backlog and you're almost thinking about it in such a way. It's like, oh, you're doing that, and that automatically comes up next time you see them, and it's just it's good fun.
It's good in that way as well. Like, I think for conversation, social media is such a good thing, because like you'll get folk that will come up to you and be like, oh, did you see this? Yeah. did you see this? And I'm just like, no, I didn't see that because I don't really keep myself inclined. But then they tell you. So you never really miss out things on social media anyway because everyone's got to tell you them. It's just, it always ends up in conversation eventually. But it's like, it's just, I think as a whole, social media is such a crazy thing because it's like everything's just all in one place now. You can find out just about anything you need to find out now just from going on your phone. And that's like, to like probably my mum and dad or something, that'd be crazy because back when they were young, it'd be like, right, after school, I'll meet you here at 3 o'clock, and if you're not there, then fuck you. Yeah, so it's like that's how it's like it would be because you like you can't message them.
Yeah,
you can maybe phone them on the landline if you have a landline, but at that point, you might not even have a landline because it's probably quite expensive. So it's like, it's just a crazy thing.
Aye.
And I love talking about it because like I like to see other people's kind of viewpoints on it because everyone says it's a good thing for certain reasons, but in a lot of cases it's very negatively based for a lot of people unless you're using it to like post stuff. Like me, for example, I wouldn't say that social media is all negative, but in a lot of ways it is. You know what I mean? It's a hard battle to win because you can't come at anybody that sits there and uses social media for any other reason because we all use it for a reason.
Before the start of the summer, when I was in my exam season, I sort of I put like limits on social media. Like I put a time limit on it, so I only had like an hour of Instagram. I stopped sort of like sending streaks and stuff to people because I was just spending so much. I was taking up so much of my day doing that. Yeah, and it was like, see, if I just turn around and I pause that, I got on with so much more. So that I see it's got a lot of a downside when it comes to that way. But then, as you say, it's like you can text people, you can make plans. You don't even need, like, the amount of times I like didn't know about something until like a day before. Someone's texted me and it's like, yeah, I can do that. Or like arranging today, it was like, yeah, we just texting randomly on Snapchat. I was like, yeah, cool, I can come along. Why not? I'll give it a go.
And it's, to be fair, like, how are you enjoying it so far?
It's pretty good, yeah. I wasn't sure what to expect, so it's good fun.
Yeah, you're talking really well as well. I said that to him. I was like, I say the same thing to a lot of people that come on close. I'm like, think of it like it's just a conversation between me and you, and no cameras are here. Because some people get like pure camera shy, and it kind of ruins the whole experience for themselves. When at the end of the day, these cameras aren't people. So, well, in a way they are people because it's people watching it from them, but it's not that important. And like you'll find a lot of people that are willing to even do something like this are very confident in themselves anyway. They're not, you don't find a lot of like very insecure people coming onto something like this. Yeah. Like obviously I've got nothing against insecure. If anything, actually, I would rather people that are insecure come onto these things because it helps you develop as a person. And I love watching development in people. It's so rewarding for me and for yourself. Like I don't think anyone really realizes how good it is being on something like this. I'm not trying to up my fucking podcast. I don't really care that much. It's just I'm trying to say to people that are maybe a little bit less comfortable in themselves or maybe a little bit less, I don't know, confident, that these things do actually genuinely help because you're putting yourself forward to then be almost judged by anybody that could see this. Yeah. Not like, I've never had any negative comments about this. Never once. So you're coming onto somewhere that's pretty safely positioned on social media, but it's still something that like people are be like, oh, but then what if I go on it and someone says something? Yeah, what if I go on it and someone says something? You know what I mean? It's like, but you need to cut that part of the mindset out because at this point in life, mate, you're getting to a point where you should be able to live your life without even worrying. School time was the time to worry about what people have to say. Yeah. Well, it's not even the time to worry about what people have to say. Yeah, no, but that's when the most judgment happens.
It's like, you just got to get on with it now. People just get on with their lives. Different people have different goals. It's like, if you get caught up judging people, you're never asking like why they're doing it, why they're enjoying it. Like, you're never doing that sort of thing.
Exactly. And when you're younger, it's so much easier to fall into that kind of trap. But when you're older, you should be able to see when it's probably time just to forget about and care less about what people have to say. Because people will always have something to say about you. Even if they know you, even if they don't know you, even if they care about what you do, even if they don't care about what you do, they'll still say something. And that's just up to them. That's up to their mindset in life and how they kind of interact with the world. And I've got no problem with that. Yeah, it's like, say what you want.
do what you need to do. Just don't drag me down with it.
Exactly. That's a great piece of advice right there, actually. Just get on with it. Honestly, like, the thing is, right, in my opinion, when I see somebody that takes time out their day to say something negative to me, I'm just like, well then what have you got going on in your life right now that you have the spare time to then say that to me?
Yeah.
And not in like a really bad way, but I'm just saying, like, if you've got enough time to come up to me and be like, oh, what you're doing's embarrassing or whatever, what are you doing in your day that is equally as important or equally as empowering to you than what I'm doing for myself?
Yeah.
And if you're not doing anything, and if you get that kick out of being negative, then you need to go and sort that. Because like it's just
not a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not a good way to live. Like, I totally understand that you're gonna clash heads with people in life. You're gonna maybe not agree with what people are doing or whatever. But when you have something negative to say about something so positive, you just wonder why.
Yeah. It's like, in the same sort of sense, it's like you're doing something that you enjoy, you have all these thoughts, you're like, this is something that brings people together in such a way, and it's like, it's a good motivational thing. It's like, turn around and saying these comments doesn't, like, as much as they're less than the amount of people that enjoy it, it still like brings put a bummer on it, and it's like, it takes away from the amount of like how enjoyable it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, you just got to think about that in such a way. It's not about what you're thinking, it's about how that could affect someone else.
Absolutely. That's a good point as well. Like, a lot of these comments that people come out with is actually enough for people to stop doing what they do, and that's the saddest thing. Like, luckily for me, I've got a very strong mindset to what I do, and I'm very proud of what I do, and I'm proud of all the people that come on to me, and I will back them no matter what. But like, if I had any weaker of mind, and for some of the things that folk have said to me maybe long time ago when I first started, that's enough for like most people to just be like, right, it's not worth it, because I don't like the fact that I'm getting involved with something where folk have got something to say.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a shame though, because some folk lose their whole opportunity at their dream in life because people just have to say something.
Yeah.
And there's just no need.
Yeah, and it's like, it's also, when you look back on it later, it's like, I wish I'd continued. Some people think, I wish I continued that on, I wish I didn't listen to these things. You've just got to keep the mindset as, that doesn't really bother me right now, it's not going to affect me in person, it's just someone else's thought, and it doesn't really need to affect much of my life. And
that's the advice you should take from Adam.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, but you're right though. Like, it's such a hard thing to say to folk, because a lot of people don't want to listen to that, because the easiest way out of that situation is to just stop.
Yeah.
Because then folk won't say anything about it, and that's why so many people live such a comfortable life nowadays, because if someone says something, it's easier just not to do it, so they don't say it again.
Yeah.
Rather than just continuing going and realising that one comment will never get said again to you by that same person, because they'll realise that you don't care.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason they'll come back. If you give them the reaction that they're looking for, they'll come back. If you don't, they'll never come back.
It's almost in a bit of it's like bullying in such a way, isn't it?
It's like bullying, and it's like maybe a bit different of a level of bullying, but it's in the same kind of aspect. I completely agree with that. And it's just, you just don't understand why folk feel the need to do it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I totally understand that. Like, even sometimes on social media, I'll watch a video and be like, "What was that?"
Yeah, but you won't have to like post it.
Yeah.
You won't have to send it to someone. Like,
yeah, I don't need to share it about. But I mean, I suppose at the same time, when you share about your negative comment to other people, it means other people see it. So
yeah,
any publicity is good publicity at the end of the day on social media.
I start hating on all these videos. You know what I mean?
Nah, to be fair, the thing is, at the end of the day, when I see people that like negatively comment on anybody that's just trying to do something good for the world, I'm just kind of like, you've clearly just not had a good time in life, because at the end of the day, when someone's trying to be positive and trying to like help other people, and God, I've had plenty of messages saying that I'm doing good things, and I've had a couple of messages that have been like, okay, whatever, but it's like, you kind of understand, and you build up that tolerance to it as well. You need to, because like you said, it's not really that important. It's just what someone's opinion is, and if you just block it out, then it doesn't matter. Like, and the thing is as well, I think one of the most important thing is for a lot of people that maybe do post on social media or post things or just do anything in general, and someone's got something to say, don't bite back. The best thing to do is just to act like you're okay with it as well. See, if like a couple of folk have just popped up to me, maybe added me on Snapchat and saw what I do, and then they're like, "Oh, you're embarrassing," I'm just like, "Cheers, mate," and then that simply just shuts them clean down, and they don't know what to say after that, because they're like, "Oh, what?" I was trying to be really, really like horrible there, and he just doesn't care. And it's like, that's the best way to deal with it, because if you start being like, alright, well, I'll scrap you, or something, something like biting back, they'll just keep going. And it's just not worth it. Like, especially like a mature age when you're willing to do something and put yourself out there. You're clearly at a mature enough age to realize that life isn't going to sort itself out for you. So you need to do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's important. And it's a great place to find your mindset, because a lot of people never find their mindset there because they'll be stuck in drugs, they'll be stuck in alcohol, they'll be stuck in going out, they'll be stuck on living on for the weekends. And again, I've got no problem with that. I'm never gonna say that there's anything less for a person that does that. I'm just saying that if you're in a very comfortable place, and if you're drinking a lot, and if you're not putting yourself out there and doing what you want to do to live a fulfilling life,
yeah,
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it myself. I need to always be working now. It's like I used to be there. I used to be kind of just felt with the kind of drug life, felt with alcohol life, felt with living for the weekends, even living for the weekdays at some point because I got that bad. But it's like once you pull yourself away from that, you pull yourself away from like maybe, I wouldn't say the folk I was hanging about with for the reason, but when you pull yourself away from the group of people that you were doing it with, it gets easier. And I'm also not saying start cutting your friends out that are maybe drinking and doing drugs and stuff like that. But if you want to really make a difference in your life, you need to have a word with them and be like, I can't be around that. Yeah. It's simple little things like that folk won't do because it's what's the word? It's like an inconvenience for them. You know what I mean? Like,
it's also, you can also be scared. You can be scared of it. You can be a wee bit shy against it. And when you come round to it, it's like you got to have that sort of bravery. It's not encouraged to turn around and say to them, "Yo, I'm not really comfortable in this anymore. I don't want to continue like this. Are you guys happy to I'm gonna stop? Are you fine?" Like, you got to talk to them about it. And if they're not going to like support it and be good friends, and they're going to try and encourage you to continue still, that's when you've got to realise, are they actually friends? Are they there to hang around and be in your life? Are they to help you out? Because that's what friends should be. They should be someone that you can lean on in a way to help you along with things. But if they're not doing that and they're causing you problems, you've got to realise that doesn't work for me. You got to sort of like shut that down, and it doesn't really need a part of your life anymore.
Almost cut your losses.
Yeah.
Almost cut your losses. I mean, that's so true. Like, it's probably the hardest thing for a lot of people. Absolutely hardest thing, because even for me, like, I was never like I was pretty close with the folk that I used to go out with all the time, but I was never like that close with them. And like, I had already realised way before that it was kind of a situation where it was like when we go out drinking, kind of, I'll make effort for you, but when we're just going through our day to day, there's no effort really there. Yeah. So I had already really just kind of disconnected myself from that scenario in the first place. But it's definitely the hardest thing to kind of stomach as well after it, because you realise that you spent all this time with these people and now they're just gone. Yeah. And there's not much after that point that you can really do about it, to be honest. Because the thing is, if I ever went back to the way I was and I was like, oh guys, can I be your pals with you again, it probably wouldn't work out the same way. Or maybe they would take me back. I don't know what life's like outside of this reality now. I'm very happy where I am and I will stay here. I'm never planning to go back. Like, obviously, I'm not saying I'll never drink again. I'm not saying that I'll never go out and have fun. You know what I mean? That's not what I mean. But I'll never take drugs again. That's a guarantee. And I'll never drink the same way as I used to, because it's not worth it. Yeah. You find meaning in life when you start to do something about it. And that's what it's all about.
Fair enough.
You get to a big age where you have to realise that maybe life is a bit more important than just going out drinking. Yeah. But again, drinking's such an easy thing to do because it's socially acceptable. It's
mainstream as well. It's like many people do it. It's not. There's clubs that's there all the time. It's like when it comes to doing other things, it's like it's less open. It's less easy to get access to. But when you turn 18, like, you've got all these options instantly available. It's like you don't have to try very hard to get involved with it.
My analogy of like going out to the pub or going to a club is that think of the pub like social media. Yeah. And think of the pub as the place that you go and speak to people, because the pub is genuinely just a social space. Yeah. And it comes with drinking, which allows people to be more confident because it makes you not be yourself in a lot of ways. Because you grow this confidence where you don't really see what's the word? You don't really you're not yourself all the time, because when you drink, you gain that confidence. You'll speak to people you would never really speak to. And you gain these friendships that aren't completely true to nature, maybe
Yeah.
is the best way to say it. Because that's why I used to drink a lot. I used to drink because it gave me confidence, and I wasn't a very confident person, which is crazy because now you would never think that.
Yes.
There'd be not a single sign. Like you came to work like way after I had. No, I was still a bit in my bad stage, but I was nowhere near as bad when you came. Before that, I was an absolute mess. But like, you I don't know what it is. You gain it's like there's two different types of confidence. I think there's the drinking confidence where you kind of put a veil over yourself. You can go and you get that temporary confidence within yourself. And there's the one where you find yourself, you find your power in you find your voice, you find who you are, and that's the best type of confidence because you feel, it's just the energy you get. It's a weird feeling.
And it's there all the time. It's like, it's just you wake up and you have it rather than needing a drink and gaining it.
Yeah.
It's better altogether because you end up realising that was what you wanted, not the other thing.
Yeah, not a temporary fix.
Yeah.
You want that permanent fix. And don't get me wrong, even now, and I say I'm a very confident person, I am, but at some points I'll still get a bit nervous. You know what I mean? And but everyone does. It's a natural thing. So don't think that you're going to start posting on social media, like for anyone that's just starting or thinking about starting. Don't think that you're going to come on and be like, oh, I'm going to do 5 videos, I'm going to be sound. It's took me like 217 days to even be this confident in myself.
Yeah.
And like I'm still developing. You know what I mean? It's going to take me years until I'm at my maximum amount of confidence. It's like, and there's not even a maximum. You know what I mean? It's endless.
It's just growing and it's just becoming better as a person. It's the social skills that come along with it.
Exactly. And something like this for me is so rewarding because I learn better ways to talk. I flow better when I talk. I can talk to random people in a lot better and a lot more like maybe academic ways because like my brain's just more switched on because you sit here in a present moment with somebody just talking back and forth, and it allows you to just let your brain actually work rather than sitting on your phone watching videos or sitting on your phone texting people that you don't think about what you're doing. You just button bashing because you know what your fingers know where you're going. You just and your brain's just playing out. Whereas when you sit and talk, you think about the words you have to say, you think about what you're talking about. You just sit so present in a moment with somebody, you realise like how fucking what's the word? How like hungry you've been for just a social talk with one person. You know what I mean? Like it's all good instead of meeting your pals every week and going on a drive or something, but you don't have like these sit down forced, like it's almost forced conversation because we're sitting in like a scenario where we have to like we're recording it, but you sit here and you just talk, and it's just so rewarding. Like when you leave here as well, you'll be like, that was just a good conversation. It's not about where the video's going. It's not about the podcast. It's about just talking to somebody. And it's like, that's probably the best thing about this. Like, I've got, in my head, back when I was younger, I probably had like more potential to do like other type of videos. I don't know what, but I've always been I would love to be part of like the social media kind of circle. But I never saw myself doing a podcast. Like I've always been good at talking, always been good at motivation, but I never saw me doing this. Never once. And here we are now, when I've paid a lot of money into it. I'm still putting more money into it, and I'm hoping it goes somewhere. For yous, not for me, not for money, but for yous. Because to be honest, it's more important to me to help people out than it is for any other reason. I'm pretty happy where I am right now in life. Yeah. So helping other people would make me feel so much better about it all.
Hi.
So that's what Cold Wans is here for.
Yeah. You need to get merch though, man. You need to get merch.
Who would buy some Cold Wans teas? Cold Wans mug? I don't know, man. It's all stuff to think about though. It's actually so easy to do stuff like that as well. Like once you've got a brand, once you've bought the brand, you just need to like work through them and they'll make your merch and stuff for you, and you just need to pop up somewhere. Yeah. So could have folk kicking about in Cold Wans t-shirts at some point. That'd be well funny.
You make oversized tees for the gym, and I'll be wearing them every time.
A wee Cold Wans gym tee. I could take that up, man. I could do that. The Cold Wans vest gym top for me, man, to get the pectorials out. Nah, to be fair, that is so funny. That would be so good, but nah, I don't think that's where we're going with the Cold Wans merch for some reason.
Fair enough.
Gym wear. Oh. Actually, that would be so funny if I came to the gym and there's just like loads of, because like a lot of folk that go to JD gyms watch Cold Wans. Imagine I just go in one day and you're all just wearing oversized gym tee. So like Cold Wans would be everywhere, man. Such a cold one, but nah, it's good, man. I actually, like I said, like this whole experience is just a whole. It's so rewarding, and I love it for that. That's what this is all about. It's all about the people that come onto it,
Yeah.
and it's like that whole networking thing you were talking about earlier. It's like you gain a lot of respect for people that come onto something like this as well. For me, anyway, because it's not something that a lot of people want to do.
Yeah. And it opens you up, and it's like it shows your insecurities in some ways. You just got to like grow with that and go with it.
Yeah, it's like when Paul came on, for example, he just spoke about his whole life. I was just sitting there gobsmacked the whole time because I was like, you're coming on to something that's like, at that time as well, it was so like small. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't as big as it is now. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're like letting go of a lot of things. It's like almost
Yeah.
trauma dumping, which is fine. I am totally fine with that because like I done it as well, but I had to do it for my video because that was basically my speech of saying that I'll never go back to drugs and I'll always stay
Yeah.
level-headed now. So I had to put that out there so that everyone knew, and because a lot of people didn't actually know what I had done in my past, because I always cried about the fact that I was a bad person before, but no one really knew, and now everyone knows.
Oh, I see. I still remember that time where me and you were sitting in the break room, and I was talking about something. You were like, and someone else came in, and we just started talking about like someone was smoking weed, and you're like, oh, I'd never go back to that. And I was like, what? There's like, I've never expected something like that from you.
Yeah. Nah, it was never the weed. It was always everything worse. So like that's the main problem. But it's good development to know that you've grown from that position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about looking back and kind of diminishing yourself for what you've done. Because the minute you keep bringing yourself down levels because you're disappointing yourself for your past, or you can't get past your past, that's when you're just gonna keep living the same life kind of situation on repeat. Because if you don't just accept what's happened to you and you don't learn from it and you don't get past your past, you cannot change. What's the point?
I know.
You're spending your time and your mental capacity worrying about something you cannot change and you cannot fix now because it's too late, it's already done, and you have just got to live with it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the balls to then pull yourself out of that and tell your truth, but you try hide it, that's when the problems start happening for you, for anyone else around you, because dishonesty is the worst thing in anybody.
Yeah.
You need to be honest in life, because it's a very key confounding variable in life. Like, people thrive off trust, people thrive off of friendships in trust, and if you don't trust somebody, you're just as good as being useless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In some cases. So yeah, a lot of people need to learn how to be trustworthy nowadays.
Fair enough. And I see what you mean. Like when we go back to like this factor, it's like you need to learn from what you've done. You can't really like think about it. You can't get stuck up on it. It's like, I'm really cheesy. I'm gonna like Hakuna Matata, you know what I mean? From Lion King.
Yeah.
You just got no worries about what's happened. Just learn and move on. And with that, you'll be able to grow as a person, and growing as a person and being more yourself is more trustworthy, and having that sort of like aspect of I'll show my true self, and then people won't like it or people will like it, and it's like that allows you to become some people find that really good, and some people trust you more because of it.
Yeah, and that's what life's all about. It's about trust. It's about just being an honest, good person. But it's something that you can talk about day in, day out, and in a lot of ways it'll never really change, because I think there's a much wider spread problem than just it being society and the way it runs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I think a lot of people that you see as well, like going back to the whole like negative like mindset thing, a lot of the people that will give you hassle and say a lot of negative things to you are the type of people that have went through a lot of trauma in life and maybe not been respected in the way that they would want to be respected at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why also when I see negative stuff, I'm just like, right, I understand where you're coming from, because in life can get hard, and if you let it take over don't know why I said it like that, but if you let it take over, it can end up getting ahead of you. And sometimes life is one of the most horrible things to live, because at some points in your life you're going to think that there's no going back from what you're doing, no coming back from what you are doing. You know, it's such a double-edged sword, life, because you want to do what you want to do, but money. You want to dream, but people. And it's like, there's always one drawback to everything you want to do, and you can't just invest everything you have into one thing to hope it works.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say to you that you should invest in yourself to hope it works, but you can't invest hundreds and hundreds of money or hundreds and hundreds of time into something that's not guaranteed. And it's just not something that folk can afford or mentally afford or anything, just any type of afford to do, because it's a scary jump to do. Like, the only reason I started to invest into this is because I genuinely started to feel, I could feel the confidence, I could feel the effort, and I could also see the results. So I was like, it's probably about time that I upgrade it to a point where now there's really nothing else I need to buy. Like, everyone's here. I need to get maybe some lighting so that the lighting's a bit better, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good nonetheless, man. Like, it's crazy. I didn't think this was all going to be here, and it's you're doing such a good job. And then there's sort of like, as much as you can't invest time into it, and you can't, like, you can have dreams and you can build on them, and then it's investing time and money into that. You've just got to build up slowly then. Like, you can't just jump straight away. And I see what you're saying, but you just got to slowly grow and slowly develop, and that should work out.
Still recording. Sorry. I thought I'd just check that camera because I thought it was off.
Fair enough.
But yeah, man, that's genuinely what it's all about in life. You know what I mean? It's just invest your time in the right things and don't waste your time on people that don't want to spend time for you.
Yeah.
That's my biggest life lesson ever since I changed, because I would have probably been the thing is, right, I talk in such a backhanded way because a lot of the things that I've said today, a lot of the things I've said in any other cold ones, a lot of the things I've said in the ice bath, at one point in my life I would have been exactly the person that I was talking about. And that's the craziest thing for me. I'm like almost talking in the third person about my past while doing these things, because I know for a fact I used to live for drinking on the weekends or weekdays. I know for a fact I'd be the type of guy that would pop up to someone and be like, oh, what are you doing? That's fucking embarrassing. I know for a fact that I'd be the type of guy that would be like just horrible to people for no reason. And that was just, but it was a different version of me at one point because of the way that I had lived my life. It wasn't because of who I was. It was because I was involved with drugs. I was involved with drinking. And a lot of people don't realise how much those things actually affect people. Like, they affect people in a massive way. And it's not something that you'll ever realise until you're involved with it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you can't ever diminish someone mentally, physically, or in any other way because of what they're like in life, because you don't know what they've went through. Life experiences and life trauma and stuff, it does turn people into bad people. And that's something you've got to accept. You can't expect everyone to be perfect. It's just not possible. Or plausible. And that's one of the biggest things for me as well. Like, I always say this to my pals, like, when even, this is really out of pocket and just maybe not completely what we're talking about, but I've always, like, spent a lot of time maybe looking into kind of my relationships, especially with like women, right? For example, I don't just get with anybody, and like I know a lot of people that will take the opportunity to get with like a woman or something if they see an opportunity there. But for me, it's so important for me to dig so deep into that situation because I care so much about how the outcome is. Because you don't really know someone until you dig into what they're really there for. You know what I mean? You can't just expect a good deed out of somebody as well. You need to really think about what you're doing and getting yourself involved with, because you don't want to get yourself stuck in something you don't want to be part of. It's so hard to escape a situation that you put yourself into and you put all your eggs in one basket to, when all you really had to do at the beginning was just have a little bit more time and think about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's been a massive thing for me in any relationship I've ever been in. I've always spent a lot of time, and like a lot of folk ask me why I've not really been in a relationship all that much during my life, but it's because I only want to be with somebody if I know it's right. If I even see the slightest problem there, I won't do it. And that's because nowadays you see a lot more like people's parents maybe, or maybe not even just their parents, but a lot of people's like relationships falling apart because they never really thought about it.
Yeah.
And they put themselves under this much stress about having another person in their life when they don't really know if they're ready for it.
Yeah.
Or if they're not ready for it, maybe they've got financial problems, they've got life problems, they've got other things going on, they've got family issues. There's all these things. And a lot of people just jump straight into a relationship because it's comfort. And it's easier to be with somebody and go through hell than be by yourself and go through hell.
Yeah.
And that's something you have to watch out for. And that's something that I've always believed in, because you don't want to get stuck in a relationship with someone that you want to be there for them. And I'm not saying like, oh, you want to escape that problem, because that's what that kind of sounds like I was saying, but you don't want to jump into someone else's problems and then add more problems.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what happens with the extra stress. But it's just life, eh? It's just life.
See, I've not been the best when it comes to relationships, and when speaking to people, I've been quite a big dick in the past. Like, I've not been very nice. In the last couple of months, like, I've done a couple of things I'm not proud of, and I've just spoken to people in ways that I don't know why I did it. So I'm trying to like work on myself in such ways, like when it comes to relationship and stuff. But then I'm also thinking about like, I've not got other problem. I've not like got financial issues. Sometimes I've got problems with family, but like there's no actual. It's just more me that I need to work on, and more about my mindset and like what I'm actually gonna be like, rather than just worrying about problems and then trying to project them into other. Not in project, but I do. Just a bit of a dick about it sometimes. So my plan is to try and work on that and try and improve, but I have hurt people because of that.
Yeah, but it's good having the realization. The thing is, if you realize that that's the problem and you can see that that is actually a problem, because a lot of people will instantly just go to, no, but it can't be me. You know what I mean? It's instantly passing on that problem. Even if you do maybe put it on to other people, maybe you've just got something that you need to work out in yourself, but the fact that you can recognize that is more important than anything. It doesn't really matter what happens outside of these doors within you or my life, as long as you can recognize what problems you have in life and you can even start slowly stepping towards that positive side to it. That's all that's important, mate. You know what I mean? Like, you should don't ever bum yourself down because of like situations or maybe things that you've done in your past. Like I said, past is the past. You will learn from it. You're still young as well. Like, you've got so much time. I mean, I'm not that much older than you, but in that like 4 years of difference or whatever it is, we've probably got like a completely different life experience. You've probably done things that I've never done, and I've definitely done things you've never done. So
fair enough.
It's like, it's just, that's what it's all about. But yeah, you should never ever like worry. I think it's important to worry about what you say to people, but at the same time, what's brought you to that scenario to then say that to somebody? You know what I mean? It's not always you. And I think a lot of people just instantly knock themselves down for thinking it's their fault. But in most cases, if you have to get to that scenario, it was never really your fault in the first place.
Nah, it's probably definitely my fault.
Okay, well, I was just trying to up my boy, but fair enough. But yeah, we're fucking running time in straight in. We're 50 minutes in. So what we're going to do is we'll get this video up and we'll react to this. And then we'll do the last little bit and we'll leave it there, because it's been an absolute pleasure so far.
Yeah, same here, man.
But let's get Sam Sulik going. So get the headphones on and it's time to listen to this video. This whole way through, we can talk through it if you get the opportunity, or if you have something to say, just talk.
Cool.
And you can hear me just fine. So.
Coach Craig, in today's video, Sam Sulik is not a bodybuilder. Not actually have the balls, the will to actually get up on stage and be judged by everyone. In this video, we're gonna have what's known as a debate. I'm gonna present two arguments and you're gonna decide which side you're on. Side one, this is the side that I'm on. Sam Sulik is not a bodybuilder. Side two, Sam Sulik is a bodybuilder. And so before you get your panties in a bunch and you write your hate comments already, this is up for debate. I don't care if I win or lose the debate. I just like debating. And remember, we learn more from debate.
This guy's a bit of a dick, to be fair.
I know, he's going on and on.
I consider Sam Sulik a bodybuilder is because he's never set foot on stage. He hasn't competed. He hasn't put on the Pro 10. He hasn't oiled up before GTA 6. And he hasn't gone up on stage flexing his biceps in a little Speedo. Yeah, I get it. It's 2024, and everyone thinks they can identify as whatever they want. But my personal opinion is, to be called a bodybuilder, you have to have dieted down and competed. And on the other side, you're gonna say, no, to be a bodybuilder, all you have to do is be interested in building your body. You go
in such a way, it's like you can't always.
Oh, what the hell? YouTube Premium needs to be bought.
Yeah, but in some ways you can't always. Being bodybuilder isn't going up on stage all the time. It's sometimes about just growing
Go
as
to
a
the gym
person
you
and
lift
working on
weights
yourself.
and you get bigger muscles, and
Yeah,
so you're
I
a
totally agree
bodybuilder.
with that,
And
to be
so by
fair, but-
that logic, you're a power lifter if you squat, bench, and deadlift in your workouts. Well, for me, to be a power lifter, you have to compete in power lifting.
But you can train
Do
as
you
a
get
power
it?
lifter, but
Even though
not
you
going on
enjoy
competitions.
Squat,
It's
bench, and deadlifting.
not
If
the
you
same.
don't compete in that sport, you're not a powerlifter. You're a person who lifts weights. And so, in my opinion, Sam Sulek, he can call himself a fitness enthusiast, or perhaps a bodybuilding enthusiast. He's living the fitness lifestyle, and it's in fact a hobby. Sam Sulek's hobby, it's being a bodybuilding enthusiast. And so imagine this, guy's a powerlifter. Perhaps 300 pounds, squats, benches, and deadlifts, let's call it 600 pounds each. Is that powerlifter, person who competes in powerlifting, can he call himself a bodybuilder? They don't compete in bodybuilding, but they go to the gym and lift weights. And they absolutely have huge muscles. The guy's 300 pounds. But is he in fact a bodybuilder? Has Sam Sulek ever called himself a bodybuilder? Does he in fact identify as a bodybuilder?
That's probably one of the best parts about social media now, is if you have something which you are reasonably into, there's an audience for it.
I've never heard him walk around saying, hey, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm Sam Sulek, the bodybuilder.
I'm so confused.
I say I'm Coach
Yeah,
Greg.
me too.
Why is he
I
backing
say
himself
Coach
into a
Greg,
corner now?
IFBB Pro. It's because I am.
He's saying that he's
Sam
never
Sulek
said he's
on
a
Instagram
bodybuilder.
says Sam Sulek. Says he's got TikTok, says he's got Twitter, and he's got YouTube. He talks about bulking and cutting. But just because you go on a bulk, just because you go on a cut, doesn't make you a bodybuilder. To the same extent, if you were to consistently be
So he's not
maintaining,
claiming to be a
also wouldn't
bodybuilder,
be a
but he's upset
bodybuilder.
that
Now remember,
they're calling
years
him a
ago, I
bodybuilder.
used to swim, bike,
Alright, so
and
they're
run,
upset
and
about
I
his fans
competed
calling him a
in
bodybuilder.
triathlons.
Yeah, I think so.
I identified
Okay.
as a triathlete. I tell people, yeah, I do triathlons. I'm a triathlete. I'm also a bodybuilder. Also do powerlifting. Also play badminton, basketball, did a lot of things. Later became a phys ed teacher and taught a number of subjects. And so I could say I did all of those things. But how about this? Let's say I enjoyed running, biking, and swimming, but didn't do triathlons. Could I say, yeah, I'm a triathlete? If I just enjoy doing cardio and I enjoy being fit, I perhaps bike and swim and run every single day. For example, Sush is biking, running, and swimming, but as of yet, he hasn't competed in a triathlon. And so if Sush were to say, hey guys, I'm a triathlete, I'm an Ironman, I would say, no, you're not. You're a cardio enthusiast. A fitness enthusiast. You go to the gym, you're doing
He's just
cardio,
nitpicking,
and you
isn't it?
enjoy being
Yeah,
fit. And that is an
I see his
amazing
point a little bit,
Great
but at the
job,
same time,
Sush.
he
And to the
doesn't
same
need to be
extent,
arguing
great
about
job,
it.
Sam. But until you set foot on stage, until you are an actual competitor, you're just an enthusiast. Now, if you competed in bodybuilding,
He's just waffling at
years
this
ago,
point.
perhaps when you were 20, and
Greg
you
just said
stopped
the biggest
going to the
waffler.
gym, you're not training more and you're not competing, can you still call yourself a bodybuilder? The answer is no. To
He's
be a
not.
He's
bodybuilder,
not.
you have to be actively pursuing the dream of building your body, and you have
Yeah,
to
literally,
compete.
Sam's
And so if
never
you're
once said he's a
bodybuilding
bodybuilder,
and
so I don't understand
stopped
what's going on
to
here.
the Gym, what you can then call yourself is a former
He's
bodybuilder.
just digging for some sort
Or
of like
perhaps
hate
a
bait or something.
retired
Literally.
bodybuilder.
He does this
Take
all the time, to
your
be fair.
pick. The same would
Aye.
apply if you're competing
This guy's a
in triathlons,
waffler.
powerlifting, and so on.
Goes
Bodybuilder
everywhere.
in the dictionary,
here we
a
go.
person who strengthens and enlarges the muscles of their body through strenuous exercise.
So he is a bodybuilder.
See, it's 2024, and it's important to explain the nuances. Yeah, we get it, lifting weights to build muscles, build your body, but to be called a bodybuilder, the way society deems it to be, you need to be getting up on stage. And so it's relatively common for people to go to the gym and lift weights. Perhaps 20% of people go to the gym at some point and they're working out. There's millions of people, even in Canada, who go to the gym.
Why does it
And
matter
of
if it's in
course,
Canada?
Tens of millions in the United States. But I don't think we have hundreds of millions of bodybuilders lifting weights around the world. And why is that? Because to be a
But he's
bodybuilder,
just showing the
that's the
definition of it, and the definition
it's
says if
very
you lift
easy
weights
to
and
walk
enhance
into
your
the
body,
gym and
you're a
train, let's call
bodybuilder.
it once a week. How hard is that? But to diet for 12, 16, perhaps even 20 weeks, or to stick to a diet of chicken, broccoli, and rice, or for the smarter individuals out there, of course they're using my cookbook.
Oh, he's just
Why would
promoting
you want to
himself now.
starve yourself on boring bland foods when there's
don't
a
wanna
better
buy your cookbook.
alternative?
You seem like a bit of a
Whether you're
dick.
natural using Turk Builder and GO2 Max from Coach Greg, HDLT supplements, code Greg 15% off, click the link in the description. Or if you're using performance-enhancing drugs, it doesn't make a
Promotion code
difference if
Greg
you're
this,
not actually getting up on stage.
anabolicdrugs.com.
Being called a bodybuilder is a very hard thing to do. It's a very hard accomplishment to make. Less than 1% of the population can call themselves bodybuilders. And to the same extent, just because you run, bike, and swim, it doesn't make you a triathlete. These are explicit terms to define extraordinary people. People who not only put in the effort to train and diet effectively, but people who have the courage to put themselves up on stage and be judged by an independent
So
group of
someone who's
judges
never
in
been to the
front
gym
of
before
an
could go up on
audience
stage
to
and then they
perhaps be
become a
ridiculed.
bodybuilder.
You
But
never
someone
know.
who's worked
But
their
they have
life
the
for it
courage
and
to
just
let
never
it
gone on
out all on the
stage.
line. I'm
Doesn't
not
matter.
saying everyone should be a bodybuilder. There are a host of dangers to being a bodybuilder. For example, many people who become bodybuilders, they likely end up having body dysmorphia, and so please be careful. Bodybuilding
Damn.
is the practice of progressive resistance exercise to
Damn.
build, control, and develop one's muscles via hypertrophy. And so if you strictly go
So you're
by
still
what's written
proving
here,
yourself wrong
I do
every single
believe that
time.
I would lose the debate. Hey,
But you
if
are.
you're not
You're
able to
losing it
build
pretty
any muscles,
clearly.
And so you lose, Coach Greg. Well, if I lose, I lose. But I'm not going down without a fight. Bodybuilder. Someone who regularly does special exercises to make their muscles bigger. What's the difference between being a bodybuilder and a weightlifter? Because if I go to the
There's
gym and
none.
lift weights, my muscles are bigger.
He's been cooked off
lifting
three
weights
separate
involves progressive
definitions,
interval,
man.
aka training
He's
harder
picking
than
his own facts to go against
muscle
himself.
hypertrophy. So what's the difference
This
there,
guy.
Chad GPT, Mr. Computer? While the sports share many similarities, the competitive performance goals are quite different. Essentially, if you're on the side
So
of
he uses an
Sam
AI
Smith
to
as a
tell him the
bodybuilder,
definition
it
next.
appears to
Sick.
me I'm
He's really
trying to
digging
win
now.
this argument, but so far I haven't been able to do it. Remember, I'm doing my best. Now, from my understanding, if you're a weightlifter or a power lifter, an Olympic lifter, all these things involve going to the gym and getting bigger and stronger muscles. How do we distinguish between whether you're a power lifter or a bodybuilder, or a weightlifter, a pick things up and put them down? And so how do we do that? Well, I think we're gonna have to add the word competitive bodybuilder. And by that, it means that you actually compete. And so we asked ChatGPT, if you don't compete in bodybuilding, can you call yourself a bodybuilder?
Bodybuilding.
Yes, you can still call yourself a bodybuilder even if you don't compete in bodybuilding. Being
Okay,
a
so
bodybuilder is more about
now
the
AI is
lifestyle
against
and
him.
commitment
Oh, there you go,
to
that's what you
bodybuilding
said.
and sculpting muscle through training, diet, and discipline. Many
Yeah.
people who identify as bodybuilders do so because they are passionate about the process, regardless of whether they step on stage in a competition. And so we asked ChatGPT, can you call yourself a race car driver if you own a McLaren but have never entered a race? And so I identify as a race car driver. I love getting out in my McLaren, driving faster than last time, and doing all the racing types of things. Am I a
He
race
just wanted
car
to show off
driver
his
if
car.
I race
Yeah,
in a
completely.
simulator? The answer is maybe. I mean, it's 2024. You can identify as anything. If I want to identify as an underage cat, I probably can do it. But should I? And will people
What is
respect
this
me
guy
for
on
it?
about,
It's
man?
my own personal opinion that you just simply have to compete. If you say you're a bodybuilder, you should be somebody who competes on stage. If not, you are a bodybuilder enthusiast. You're passionate about bodybuilding. It's
No,
your
but
hobby.
you just said
the
that you
difference
could- if
between
you
being a
go on stage, you
bodybuilder and a
competitive bodybuilder.
non-bodybuilder is the fact that you've competed. If you just like
Still a
the
bodybuilder.
lifestyle, you want to copy your favorite IFBB pro, you want to go on bulks and cuts and go through the motions, perhaps practice posing in the gym, but not actually have the balls, the will to actually get up on stage and be judged by everyone, especially the judges in the front, then you are a bodybuilding enthusiast, and it is simply a hobby for you. And
I think this is simply
let
a
me
hobby
know
for
in
you.
the comment section. And
Yeah,
so although
I'm
I
hating
have
him,
people
bro.
lost in the debate,
Literally.
do you agree?
This is-
Do you agree with Coach Greg, or do you agree with ChatGPT?
ChatGPT. Yeah, I'll believe the AI over you, man.
And you go through bulks and cuts because perhaps it's summer or winter, and you eat more food, and you watch Mike Israetel videos and perhaps Coach Greg, and you go to the gym and work out. Are you in
I don't think
fact
I've
a
ever
bodybuilder?
watched his
Now
videos.
remember, Mike Israetel
I don't think I'll
is
ever
in
watch
fact
them
a
again.
bodybuilder. He had the balls to get up on stage. He had the courage. He dared
What the
to do
hell?
it. And that takes a lot of courage. Despite the fact that you might think I have a beef with Mike Israetel, I respect him because he got up on stage. That takes a lot of courage. And he did get to the national level. But what about if you're just a guy that talks about bodybuilding, but you never actually get up on stage? Are you a bodybuilder?
I'm pretty sure
Many
Sam's
of you
bigger than him, and
love
that's like,
Sam
this is
Sulek,
jealousy.
and you're gonna be all up on his
Could
side.
be. Might just
Of
be
course,
jealousy, to be
Sam
fair.
Sulek's a bodybuilder. How dare you question him? Well, I dare because I dare to make videos where I put myself up at the mercy of the audience. You watch the video and you're going to critique me. And I know you are. But yet I still do it because I have the courage to be myself. Perhaps you don't. You're just going to mirror what everyone else is doing. Instead of being a lion, you'll all go out and be a sheep. It's
Yeah,
easier
no
to be
wonder
sheep.
we're
It's
sheeps,
easier to
because
be
we all
sheep.
agree
You've
on
got
a
hundreds of
level-headed
others out
answer
there
to this
saying the
question.
exact same thing
Because it's
as
a
you.
stupid
You
question.
don't dare stand up to be different. And so you can criticize me all you like. You can put all the hateful comments in the comment section. Oh, yap, yap, yap. Coach Greg
He's just
yapping
looking for
again.
hate bait.
But hey, you're watching me yap, and you're responding. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Of course, I can't wait to read the comments. Is Sam Sulik a bodybuilder? Don't forget to watch one of those two bloops, and of course, the cookbooks, the training books, the Circle diet book, the Hard and Last Time clothing line. Don't forget about GO2 Max and Turk Builder. Code Greg 15%.
He's just trying to advertise himself now.
Yeah, I'm not listening anymore. Cheers, mate. What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think pretty sure Sam is a bodybuilder. May not be a competitive one, which is a fair enough answer, but yeah, he was just waffling.
Yeah, no, that was the most waffling video ever. I'm never gonna get that 12 minutes back in my life, like, but it is what it is. Oh, it's so weird being on those headphones.
Yeah, I didn't realize the mics picked up so much. Like I was drinking my juice there, I was like, oh, just hear the bottle going down there.
Yeah, nah, it's good, man. See, that's why I'd usually wear them, but I think sometimes it's like it might actually be a better video without them on. I don't know. It's all
Yeah.
about what, because I mean, at the end of the day, folk are watching it as well. You're not just listening to the audio, so seeing folk with like these big stupid headphones on sometimes looks a bit strange.
Yeah,
But it is what it is. It's personal preference. At the end
it
of the
works
day.
for the video part.
It does. It's good. It's good because you can hear each other and still listen to the video, so it's
Yeah.
good for that. But anyway, we're going to move on to the last part because we're now over an hour into the second part. Damn.
Damn, you have to like cut some of this out.
Nah, never, man. It's all raw. It'll all be up. It's just we do need to try and bring it to kind of to an end because you don't. Thing is, you don't want these videos to be too long, but you also don't want them to be too short. You need to get
Yeah.
enough in there, but you don't want it to be like someone's watching it and just be like. After a long time of listening to folk waffling and talking, and even if it's important or it's like motivational or beneficial, it does eventually get to the point where folk get sick of listening. So like, it's
Yeah.
fair enough. But yeah, I've got one last question for you, and I ask this question to every single person that comes on to Cold Ones.
Yeah.
And that question is: do you have a piece of advice or a quote or anything that you would kind of live your life off of that would maybe help the people watching?
Don't listen to others. Do what you need to do. Grow as a person, and remember the mistakes you have made and work on them. Yeah,
Quite baseline. I like it.
yeah.
Nice and easy.
Oh,
A quick recap of everything we've really spoke about today, and that's it's an important thing, to be fair. Like, I think the biggest thing for me out of what you said there is don't listen to other people, because it was the one thing that I couldn't get through my head when I first started doing this, and now that I'm here, it's the only thing I really live off of, because you can develop as a person without worrying about all that stuff. You can do anything within yourself, but without getting rid of the other extremities of people maybe and externally being horrible and stuff.
yeah.
Without getting rid of that, your dream's just going to stop, because eventually, if you can't stop caring about it, it does build up and you will eventually take some level of effect from it. It's always going to happen. But yeah, what a great little quote, great little bit of advice. And yeah, I've got one last thing to do for you, Adam.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, it was nice coming on. Thanks, man.
An absolute pleasure. He's been an absolute pleasure the whole time. Love Adam, man. He's a good, inspirational young guy, and all his stuff will be below, but he doesn't really use social media all that much, but I'll still leave it all tagged in the bottom, and you can go and give him a wee follow or a wee like on some of his posts and be one of his new followers, because he deserves it. He's a good lad.
Fair enough.
But
Thanks,
yeah.
man.
Fair enough. But anyway, guys, I'll see you again tomorrow.